This right here is pizza, or maybe 2 trips to Starbucks. But for the wealthy, this isn't just $20, this is a seed that they can plant for their kids' future. And that's because they know that this $20 can be invested on a consistent basis and turn into $1 million. Now, most middle class families, myself included, spend $20 a week on absolute garbage. Convenience fees, late fees, subscriptions that we don't even realize that we're paying for. These are broke behaviors where we're literally trading DoorDash for our children's freedom. And so the math that we're using is going to be super simple. $20 a week or $1,040 per year invested into low-cost index funds that track the S&P 500, which historically has returned 10.8% per year on average. Now, before you say, oh, but $1 million isn't going to be worth anything years from now, well, what we're going to do is we're going to factor inflation into our compound rate. Now, to do that, we'll use the average inflation rate, which is 3% per year, and we'll subtract that from the 10.8%, and so we'll end up using 7% as our compound rate. Doing this will ensure that whenever our kids do touch that $1 million, it'll have the same exact buying power as it does today. Now let me set some expectations for you. That $20 is not going to turn into $1 million overnight. And that's probably not groundbreaking news for you, but if you're logging into your account every day or even every month, you're probably going to have a bad time. Because let's say that you set up an account the day that your kid is born and you set up automatic transfers of $20 into that investment account. For the first 10 years, you would have contributed about $10,400, but with compound growth, that account would have about $14,500. Not really life-changing. And to be honest, this is where most people quit. This is the valley of disappointment. Now, assuming that you stick with it until they're 18 years old, you would have invested $18,700 of your own money. But that account would now be worth about $36,000. So you would have doubled your investment. The cool thing is that $36,000 could help them pay for some of their college expenses. It could even be used to help as a down payment for a starter home. You've basically taken that $20 and you've created a Launchpad for your kid that puts them 10 years ahead of all of their peers. Only 8% of people between the ages of 18 and 24 have over $10,000. Your 18-year-old would have $36,000. But let's say that they don't touch it at all and that they keep going, you keep contributing $20 per week. Or better yet, now that they're working, they contribute $20 a week of their own money. By age 30, that account is now over $100,000. And by age 40, it's $220,000. And by the time that they are 62 years old, that $20 per week has now turned into $1.1 million. Again, that $1.1 million has the same exact buying power as right now. And the crazy part is that you would have actually only contributed about $67,000 of your own money. That means that your kid could pay you back that $67,000 and still be a millionaire. Now, in my case, by the time my kid turns 62, I'll be like 96. But I think that this effectively shows you how wealthy people get wealthy. It's not from a job, it's from ownership in something. And in this case, it's ownership in the stock market. Now you're probably yelling at the screen right now saying, Dan, this all sounds great. Where do I actually put this money? In a savings account? Absolutely not. A savings account is where your money goes to die due to inflation. At best, a savings account might be getting you 3.5%, 4%, which, as we just discussed earlier, is the same pace of inflation. So your money is just flatlining, which means that every dollar that you put into a high yield savings account would be worth $1 15 years from now, $1 30 years from now, $1 60 years from now. But what about a custodial brokerage account? Well, this is a bit closer because you could invest that money so you'd be able to take advantage of compound interest. But the problem with this account is that your kid would pay capital gains tax on that $1,050,000, which would eat up hundreds of thousands of dollars. Instead, the account that you want to use for your kid is a 529 education savings plan. Like the name suggests, this is an account that you can use to save up for your kid's education, and all the money that's in that account can be used tax-free, assuming that you're using it for qualified education purposes. And the great part about this account is that in 41 states, you can actually deduct the money that you put into that account from your income taxes, meaning that you could deduct that $1,040 every single year from your income, and likely save yourself about $250 in taxes based on the average effective tax rate. But hold on a second, Dan. I thought you said that we weren't going to be using this to pay for our kids' education. That is correct, because at the age of 18, you could also convert that 529 plan into a Roth IRA for your kid and roll over $35,000 into that account. And so the amazing part about rolling that over to a Roth IRA means that that $1,050,000 in capital gains that your kid got over the course of 62 years would all be readily available to them tax-free. And if you remember, that $20 a week was $36,000 by the time that they turned 18. So this plan actually works out perfectly. It's almost like I did that kind of strategically. Here's the reality. We can dream up giving our kids $1 million all day, but if you click away from this video and you never actually invest for your kid, they're going to end up with $0. Most people get intimidated when it comes to setting up these accounts, going through the paperwork. They think that they might even need a lawyer to do all this. Everything that I discussed with you today literally takes 10 minutes to do. And so here are my recommendations if you're not sure what to do next. The first thing that I would consider doing is checking with your IRA provider if they offer 529 plans. Since your bank account is likely already connected to your IRA, this is going to be the easiest way of setting everything up. Now, if that's not an option for you, the second thing that I would recommend is just to go to Vanguard.com and go through their simple process of setting up a 529 plan. I promise if you can go onto Amazon, create a Prime account, connect your debit card, and start buying things on there, you can go into Vanguard, set up a 529 plan, and connect your bank account to start purchasing investments for your kid. And my third recommendation, make sure that you are setting up automatic investments. To do this in Vanguard, it really requires you to do two things. The first is to have money automatically put into your Vanguard money market account. So in this example, you would say every Friday, I want $20 to be taken out of my bank account and put into this Vanguard account. And then the second thing is that you need to set up automatic purchases of whatever investment that you're making. So let's say you wanted to purchase S&P index funds. You would say every Friday, take that $20 and purchase that index fund. And once you do that, you're done. Just leave it alone. Don't even really check on it other than maybe once a year when you're going through your taxes, just to make sure that everything is flowing through there smoothly. And if you want to learn more about how I've set up a middle-class trust fund for my kid, check out the next video here where I actually walk you through the 3 accounts that I personally use that cost me less than what most people spend on a used car payment.